In this video we show you the install of the G-force gearbox in an S14. Over here we show you the medium shifter setback position, and the car in the video is going to be the shortest shifter setback position. So after you fit the transmission to the car, after you cut out of the tunnel what you need to cut out just to make it fit, obviously we need to put the tunnel back in it. You fit the seat back for that. In this case, this seat is not the best example because this one sits very far forward into the car. Like I can't even sit in the car, which is very rare. And then you mark out on the floor. When I was cutting the tunnel, I marked out where the seat was ending plus like an inch. And then I put the seat back and I made these black lines just to indicate where it's where the shielding of the tunnel is going to be. You put it in the gear that's going to move this lever the furthest out. That you always have enough clearance. And what I usually do over there is that I use a hole saw to cut out this piece over here. So I use a hole saw to cut this out, and then I just draw these lines in to make some space. And what I always start with is I cut a piece of tube, so you have a nice little way to end that plate over there. So yeah, it's obviously a little bit of fabrication work that's going on. Over here, you always want to keep things square, so everything you cut out square, so 90 degrees. And try to keep everything on 90 degrees, because when we're going to be fabricating the plates to cover it all up, it's going to be a lot simpler. So this is one of the many setbacks we have. Like, you can also choose to have the shifter sit a little bit further back, which is like our normal position for the S chassis. But in this case, because this driver is pretty close to the steering wheel, we choose this position for this driver. And the lever is actually also available in many different shapes and sizes. So if this one would sit center, it would sit like over here, then the lever would bend back a little bit and you would be in the same position as the original gear stick over here. And I'll show you guys how we're going to do that. Obviously this has been worked on before, because the S chassis has like that thing over here for the exhaust, which everybody cuts out like this way. We haven't done this. This was done before we got the car. And it's obviously a little bit messy, so I tried to get rid of all that mess and try to, like I said, try to go square with everything and square everything. A very good trick if you want to cut from underneath, because obviously we can cut inside this car, but then it would get a lot more messy. So what you can do is that you drill holes right in the positions where your line is going to end, and you use that as a template on the underside of the car where these holes will obviously be visible, and then you cut between those points with the angle grinder from the bottom of the car, which saves you a lot of stuff. And usually that also means that you've got a little bit more room to move the angle grinder around. So here you can see the gearbox is temporary mounted. So I made this mount over here, which is normally not in the car, because that mount sits over here where you cut it out. And this is basically just how it sits. Obviously this is like a temporary thing. And over here you can see the 3 holes that I drilled, which signify where we need to cut with the angle grinder. So this is now squared up. So our piece of paper, our little template, would fit over there. And what we need to work on right now is making this edge over here square, because that's an odd shape, as you can see. But as I said, if you keep these lines all straight, it's very easy to go from a very odd shape, which is this tunnel profile, to a square box. And all you need to do make sure is that all the lines that you make are straight and are 90 degrees, because then you can it's not super easy for me to explain, but like these, it's very difficult to make this shape over here. It's almost an impossible shape to make if you wanted to extend it forward. So you want to go to a 90-degree angle. So that's a very easy shape to make, and then you can like weld and close this up right over here without having to make that weird shape. As you can see, a lot of stuff has happened on this tunnel. This is where they had the handbrake mounted as well. We thought about making templates like universally usable templates, but like all these tunnels are very different. Like this piece is obviously different than original. Over here some stuff has changed as well. So I thought I'd just make this video to show you guys how to do this yourself. Yeah, so you'll see the template done. Obviously it's a little bit too big, and what I like to do is use my angle finder over here, because before we started we squared the car out so it sits completely square. And this is what I meant, like over here this is going to be a very easy thing to weld, and the same as the floor is not 100% horizontal, so we sink this in the floor a little bit. Obviously this needs to be cut, and obviously the whole thing needs to be a little bit lower, but it's always better to have a little bit bigger template than small. So that's like a good start. As you can see, it has enough room for the shifter, and it has enough room for the seat. Yeah, so that's about it. So we still need to, like, we cut this out also to get the handbrake back in, and we could like determine how high or low we want to have this. It's always nice to have it a little bit higher than the tunnel. Also, like, visually that's better, and also it's easier to weld it that way. And one step further, you can see that it's turning into a nice little box, and this is like the leftover piece that I was talking about. Yeah, so what you could do right now is mark which angle you need to have over here and over there. Obviously this piece still needs to be cut out a little bit to go over that area, but then you're having quite a good box over here. And that's what it looks like when you copy the template to steel. We made a little hatch over there to go into the bolts for the shifter assembly if you ever need to do that. And there's yeah, that's what I'm talking about over there. That's a very difficult shape, so what we did is we made this one slightly longer and just cut it off straight, and then you don't have to worry about copying this shape. As you can see, this transmission tunnel has been modified quite a lot, which usually doesn't make stuff much easier, but if you get this piece right, over here we put some tabs in here so you could put a nice plate on it, like a stainless steel plate or something for the shifter, and we're gonna make a structure over here for the handbrake. So that's where the inside looks like. So you use this line, is quite straight, and yeah, so that's fitting nicely. And I always like stamp this up so it doesn't move anywhere, so it's easy to weld this shut. And yeah, so it's looking pretty good. And as you can see over here, it doesn't affect it at all, that this shape is straight instead of following the tunnel. And that's what she looks like after paint. We made a little plate over here for the handbrake, and as I said before, that's the gonna get a separate cover over there. And yeah, as you can see, it's sealed off over here. I always turn off the lights in the shop and then use a light from underneath to see if there's any openings or whatever, but it was completely closed. And here of course is also going to be a nice separate lid, so you can always work on the linkages, because that's like a big advantage of these gearboxes compared to normal gearboxes that have the linkage on the inside, which you can do nothing about, and this is the linkage on the outside, so you could work on it or replace it or whatever. Like, we never replaced one of them, but it's nice that you're able to do it. And yeah, it's also nice that if you want a different shifter setback, so let's say you sell your gearbox or you change your chassis, you can get different linkages for different shifters. Making a little trans mount over here. This is the new piece that we installed, because normally the Nissan piece sits on the more to the inside, and I use these little tubular pieces which take this bolt, the start of the pilot bearing, to the face of the bell housing, which in this case is a little bit over 15 centimeter. So that's about 17 centimeters, which means that the face of the pilot bearing is going to be about 20 meters, so the face is going to be right over there, which is totally perfect. So we installed the gearbox in the car. Obviously we put the lines in. There's a bleed line over here, so you really want to have an external bleed line. Well, you need to have one because you can't reach it. So that's a bleed line that you use there. This is the line that goes up to the clutch. I always have these lines pressed. Like, you could make them yourself, but I like to have them professionally pressed so there's no chance of leaking or whatever, because again, as with everything we do on this stuff, like if that would fail or that fitting would fail or something like that, you have to take everything all off again. So better invest a little bit more in getting the right stuff. As you can see, this is our trans brace. It's the Einsel piece over here in the back. There's another vertical piece, and this is the Nascar mount. And setting the torque correctly for the gearbox. That's about 70 Newton meters, so that's what, like 55 pound-feet or something. And you really want to make your life easy by getting one of these. So that's extremely important. It's a 3/8 with a round head on it, and you want to use the Allen bolts again. It's time to fill up the transmission with oil. I really like that these have a plug that takes a 3/8 tool, so that's very convenient. I don't understand that not more brands do that. Maybe there are some brands that do it, but I really like it on this gearbox. And you can use, what we always use is a 75 weight 140 oil with a moly component in it, and then you should be good to go. Like, you could technically also fill it when it's on the floor, of course, which would be a little bit easier, although you have a lot of space out here. But then you need to put the slip yoke in, because if you position it to put it on the bell housing, all the oil will come out in the back since you don't have the shaft installed. So that's it. You also want to check the operation of the shifting levers, that there's nothing interfering over there. Obviously this should be checked like way before, and that's yeah, so that's how it works. It's reverse gear operation. So it's all good. There's the transmission installed. Over here you can see the bolts for the shifter linkage. Over there you could remove that hatch and then inspect the dogs over there. So this box is up that way, and this actually so there's a little, let's see if I can put it on with one hand. There. Yeah, so that's what it looks like when it's on there. Obviously, you want to paint the car on the inside. After this, we just did a rattle can paint job over here, free of charge for this client. So that's what it looks like. We got the handbrake over there, the shifter over there. Obviously, this car is gonna get an offset or shifter that bends back. This is just one that I put in to check the operation. Handbrakes over there, so that's nice and close. Yeah, so that's the gearbox installed in the car. And as I said from the beginning, this is the most forward position for the shifter. So normally on the S chassis, shifter sits further back, but because this seat is extremely close to the steering wheel, that's how this one was installed. As you can see, that's extremely simple. The slip yoke, our mount, and gearbox mounted up. It's the bleed line, of course. And there you can see the shifting mechanism over there.